Outsiders looking in see a great difference between southern Vietnam and northern Vietnam. There are different mindsets, different ways of doing things, and this is still going on after 2 decades of reunification. What will it take for both sides to share a common vision?
I would like to dispute that perception. I was born in the center. My family lived in the south for a long time, and I settled down in the north. Now I'm back in the south because of my university project. I really feel as a woman of all 3 regions, and here I have to bring some clarification. Vietnam, the notion of north and south is a creation of the American presence and intervention. The French colonials, I think, stuck to the realities of Vietnam better because they created 3 entities. And in Vietnam, for those who understand the language, who can go deep into the culture and the traditions and customs, you will see that Vietnam is composed of 3 regions and not 2. So what I say is this notion of North and South is a political notion that was created in '54. Now, of course, because it had all the weight of the ideological strife then as the American war defined the war. So it pitted a sort of pro-American Saigon administration and an entity that was not that shouldn't have come into being. If you read carefully the Geneva Accords of 1954, in '56 we should have held general elections throughout the country, but those general elections were never held. And it is a documented fact that it was the American side that refused to let those general elections take place because the CIA itself knew and recognized that Ho Chi Minh would have won. So that they didn't want. And therefore, so this notion of North and South, as I say, is political. It's not part of the culture. So you have to say, there are people from the center. And if you know the jokes, people joke about the character, the temperament of people in the central part, in the southern part, in the northern part. So that's the qualification that I like to bring. But that political sort of cleavage,
The
divide. Of course, it was most apparent and real in the first 2 decades after the end of the war. But I think that today it's quite blurred. I don't say it's disappeared fully.
Let's talk about strong, powerful women in Vietnam. You led or were involved in a lot of women's organizations. To what do they, is it because women have always been involved in the struggle, whether it's a struggle in the conflicts, in struggling in the household to make ends meet, or is it in the laws? Because I think in Asia, Vietnamese women are very strong. But to what do you attribute this trait?
First of all, I think it's in the culture. Some people, when people come here and say, it's like China, I say, no. The China feudalism was very deep. I mean, the women had their bound feet. In Vietnam, the women right from the start were much freer, much more equal. And we had sayings like, for example, if a husband and wife are of one mind, they can scoop out the Eastern Sea. Meaning, a united couple can work marvels, wonders. So, I mean, that kind of spirit has always been there.
So, where do you see Vietnam in 10 years' time? What are the challenges that you think Vietnam will be facing in the coming future?
I think one of the challenges, of course, is in the infrastructure, because the influx of FDI, of foreign direct investment, is not really being matched by quick enough and robust enough development of infrastructure, physical and technical. But the second very big challenge will be also in human resource development. At the moment already, companies say that mid-level managers in Vietnam are paid higher than in China because they are a rarer, scarce, commodity here. Thirdly, it's the whole question of administrative reform and transparency, anti-corruption, so on and so forth. So accountability, all that issues of governance. Yeah. So I would, and also, as I said, a new kind of income gap or regional gap that will have to be addressed properly, I think.
On that note, Madam Ninh, thank you very much for your valuable time. I know how busy you are, and this has been a very informative session. Thank you very much.
Thank you.